Now this really sucks, but it is the best way for you to be able to make money on YouTube. Gone are the days of you being able to just sit there and hit record and talk about your favorite anime waifus or guns, or preferably both. No, to be able to make real, life-changing, family-sustaining, giving security for your wife and your kids type of money, you're gonna need to follow the 4 steps that I talk about in this video. And I know this because my wife and I actually used to be full-time influencers doing brand deals, sponsorships, affiliate links, UGC. I've been paid to eat top ramen on camera. I've kind of done everything that there is to be able to make money on YouTube. You're gonna get to have fun later. I promise that that's gonna happen, but first you need to create a YouTube business. And notice that I said YouTube business and not start a YouTube channel, because those are actually 2 different things, okay? Making the videos and making the content is not what's actually going to make you money. That's driving the leads. You're going to have something else that you attach to that to create your YouTube business. And I know it sounds really cheesy, but this business, this structure is what actually gives my wife and I time freedom, location freedom, financial freedom. I know it sounds hyperbole. It's how we run and operate our 7-figure business. It's what allows us to be able to travel, to be able to afford trips to Disneyland, or be able to race cars and kind of have the fun that we want to. And it's actually what we teach our students as well. If we haven't met yet, my name is Doug, and my wife Haley and I actually run a 7-figure online business using the system that I'm about to show you. And again, it's what we use to be able to feed our family and to be able to have all this fun in life. And I get to spend time with them. I get to be a really present dad. We get to homeschool. We get to basically just build our family's life together because of this business. And that's really what we're here for. So if that's what you're looking for too, if you're looking for freedom so you can hang out with your kids more or spend more time with your family, or be able to just basically buy your time back as much as you can, then be sure to like the video, hit subscribe, leave a comment if you have questions, and let's go ahead and jump into the first step. Now, when starting a YouTube business, obviously you need to have a niche or an idea of what you're going to be talking about. You have to have a direction that your channel is going to go in. And so when most people start doing this, they think to themselves, okay, what do I want to post? What do I like to watch on YouTube? What do I think would be fun to be able to make? And you see, this is just where most people mess up. They treat YouTube like it's for entertainment, or they treat YouTube that it's like it's just something that they want to do for fun. Now, while people can come to YouTube for entertainment, YouTube is actually a problem-solving platform. Have a flat tire? Hop on YouTube. The sink's clogged? Hop on YouTube. Sure, there's stuff that's on there that's strictly entertainment, but you're probably still solving the problem of being dead inside by watching that content. There's always problems being solved with YouTube. So instead of asking what you want to watch, right? What do I want to watch? You should be asking what other people want to watch. It's kind of a novel idea for us as humans to be able to ask, what do other people want before our own needs? But I promise if you can do that, creating content and attracting an audience and building a movement and building a following and making money is going to be so much easier. So let's ask ourselves a couple questions to kind of facilitate this. The first thing is, what problem do others have that I can actually help them solve? And it should be something that people actually care about. Like, it's okay to be talking about what I'm painting or, how to be able to paint, but it might be better for you to be able to help solve or heal trauma or get somebody through their trauma via painting. Okay, there's a distinct difference. There's like how to paint, and then there's how to be able to help people heal through painting, through the act. The problem being solved, one of them carries a much greater weight. Now, the second thing to ask yourself is, are people actually paying to have this problem solved? If they aren't paying, you can't really expect to be able to make a living for your family. So it needs to be something that people are actually willing to give you actual hard-earned money for. Now, once you can actually answer both of those questions, then that's where you should really be starting with your niche. But because you're probably wondering, let's go ahead and talk about some examples of what this looks like. Okay, so for instance, one of our students, her name's Courtney. She runs a channel called Courtney Grows Food, and it's all about gardening. Now, she could just talk about gardening, like how to plant tomatoes or how to dig a hole or whatever it is that people do with gardening. I suck at gardening. But instead, she actually makes content on how to grow food in a smaller space. And what that problem tries to achieve is that people have the issue of like not having a bunch of land, but they still want to be able to grow food. And on top of that, she helps people to be able to grow their food for 2 reasons. One is for health, so that way you're eating nice, good, organic vegetables and whatever else that is that she's growing. And then 2, it also helps people to be able to budget and save money by growing their own food. She's solving a much deeper or a bigger problem that people might have, and there's something that is a little bit more important to them. Now, once you have your problem figured out, it's actually time to go through and create the tool that people will be using to solve that problem. And that is our second step, where we're going to create a course or some type of a coaching program. Now, if you want to actually make money in this second step, okay, you're going to need to forget about things like $5 sticker packs, $19 LUT packs. You're going to need to create something that provides value to the point to where people are actually willing to pay hundreds or even thousands of dollars for it. And I know it sounds crazy, but people actually do this. You see, people are willing to pay more if the problem is more serious. And so what we need to do and what we need to think about is that if you have a goal, right, you need to think about, okay, how many views do I need to get at what price point to be able to actually reach that goal that's sitting there in the middle. And I know a lot of you guys probably don't like math. I'm not a huge fan of math either, but let's go through an example. So if you need to make $5K a month, for instance, to be able to change your life, which yes, I get it. Like it's all relative. Okay, I was just watching a video of people spending $5,000 on a Pokemon card, but $5,000 a month to some people might actually change their lives. If you're selling something at $19, you're going to need a ton of views to be able to get a ton of leads to your sales page, to be able to get a ton of sales at that $19 to be able to make the $5,000 of income. And that's not including taxes and expenses and all the other stuff. But if you sell something that's $100 or $500 or $1,000, like if you sell a product for $1,000 and you get 5 sales, there is your $5,000 that you need. And so the amount of views that you need on your channel is a lot lower. And so that, in my opinion, makes courses or coaching programs the best type of product for you to be able to sell alongside your YouTube channel. And once you have this other product that is yours, that you are in control of, that you set the price on, that you determine whether you want to discount or not, that is your actual product. That thing is what's going to be the thing that actually makes you money. No one can take that from you. That's what you drive all of your leads and traffic from YouTube to, which is step number 3. But real quick, before we get to that, let's talk about a couple of examples. So for example, one of our students, her name's Katie. Her program solves the problem of moms feeling like constantly behind and overwhelmed at home. And she teaches them how to create an actual practical system that they can use so that way they're not constantly floundering. And another one of our students, Colton, what he does is he's a photographer. And so he helps part-time photographers be able to break that wall, to be able to break that like monetary or income level to go from part-time to actually becoming a full-time photographer. So a lot of people think that in order to do a course or coaching program, it has to be about business or money, but obviously not. Like, yes, Colton's program does. It helps you go from part-time to full-time. It's a very clear return on your investment. But Katie's program is something that's a little bit more intrinsic, but people still really care about, which is raising really good kids so they become really good adults in the future. So whatever it is that you do, whether it's a course or a coaching program, whatever it might be, it needs to have a ton of impact. Okay, you need to be able to impact people on a much deeper level in order for you to really be able to make money on YouTube. And this is where we're going to start connecting them together in step 3, is where we start to use YouTube as the lead driving tool. So this is what most people miss about being on YouTube, is that when YouTube is your marketing tool, every single video that you put out should be used as something that drives the business forward. When most people are trying to do YouTube, they're like talking about vlogs or funny things, or they're acting on trends, or they're reacting to something that they saw on TikTok. But when you have a product to sell, when you're on YouTube, you don't need to just be entertaining or chase trends or get views. You need to actually be useful to people. You need to actually provide value so they'll want to go from your YouTube channel down to your sales page. So you need to make like this mental switch where you go from making content to actually finding customers. It's one of the things that we talk about in our program, is that you need to stop finding followers and you need to start finding buyers. And so we do that by looking at our content as like an actual marketing strategy. Okay, when businesses and when people look into doing marketing, kind of like I used to work at a marketing agency, and I worked for really big clients like Toyota and Home Depot. Anytime we were creating content for their website, and I was in search engine optimization, anytime we were doing anything for them, we would ask ourselves, okay, how are we going to feed this funnel so people find and discover these businesses or these companies? And then how do they work themselves down to converting, whether that's a lead or it's making a sale on a type of product? So we would use the idea of a funnel. And so making content on YouTube is actually no different. Your content should still act like a funnel. There should be still top funnel, mid funnel, and bottom funnel type of content. So let's go ahead and break that down. Okay, so like a top funnel, and I'll put something on the screen or something that's here. I'll just show my hands like this. The top of the funnel is the most broad. And so by the most broad, that means it needs to be like the most basic or the widest TAM type of content. These are videos that are supposed to get you the most visibility possible. Now, as you move down the funnel, obviously it narrows up a little bit, which means that your content is going to narrow up a little bit. So while the top funnel was you trying to just be as visible as possible, The second part of the funnel or the mid funnel is going to be you giving as much value as possible. You want people to start to trust you. And so in here with your value-based content, you really want to be able to solve problems for people, okay? You want to be able to solve as many problems as you can, because then that's how you really earn people's trust. But you still don't want to be too specific, because you still have the bottom of the funnel. And at the bottom of the funnel is where you're actually going to be convincing people to convert or to buy something. And so this is usually where you talk about like your story, or you talk about your results or students' results, and you show people your system. Usually these don't get viewed like as a first touch point with a lot of people. Most of the time, these are the videos that are getting watched after people start binging your content. So let's talk about what this is going to look like in the real world. Okay, this is one of our students. Her name is Rebecca, and Rebecca, basically what she does is she helps moms to be able to lose weight without toxic diet culture. Now, you would expect her to be doing like all fitness videos, right? It would be just her working out, and it would be showing different workouts, but she actually implements this strategy, this video funnel strategy, really, really well. So let's look at like a top funnel video. So our top funnel video would be the laziest way to be able to lose 35 pounds as a busy mom. Moms, and obviously people in general, are always looking for a way to be able to lose weight. So it's a very wide TAM. We say something non-specific, but still kind of specific, like busy. Okay, a lot of people consider themselves busy. So if you're a busy person looking to lose 30 pounds, then this video is going to be for you. It's a pretty searched topic, and it'll probably be a topic that exists for the end of time, unless you're from that movie that like Matt Damon was in, where they can heal cancer by just putting you in a pot or something like that. Now let's move down to her value video, like the middle of the funnel video that she has here. So in here, I would consider this video to be your brain is stopping you from losing weight, and here's how to be able to fix it. So this is a more specific video, but we're solving a problem still, okay? The first one is obviously talking about like how to lose weight, but how to lose weight can be very broad and very general. There's a ton of different ways to be able to lose weight. But as she moves down into this value video, it's a more advanced video, because now we're talking specifically about mindsets and losing weight. Okay, people may have tried different things, like whether it's like Jenny Craig or Weight Watchers or Orange Theory or working out or whatever it might be. But now we're going to talk about mindset, which is something a little bit more specific. Okay, it's an advanced video, but it's still trying to solve a more general problem. Now, once people are getting down to that value section, they're going to want a little bit more. Okay, so Rebecca's conversion video would be the exact system I used to lose 35 pounds. This is specific. This is authoritative. And the direct next step from here is to actually contact her, or to be able to get her a freebie to jump into her funnel, or to actually go through and try to get coaching from her. Now, again, when you look at this, like none of these videos are here trying to get sponsorships or brand deals. Like, yes, we're trying to get views with everything that we do, but we're trying to get views for the sake of filling this funnel. Now, you've probably heard me say it a few times, but let's actually talk about what the funnel is. And that's step 4, is actually building the system and the mechanism that people are going to use to be able to go from watching your videos to buying your products. So this is the literal same system that we've used to be able to do 6-figure months. This is what we've taught our students to be able to do millions of dollars, all while homeschooling or taking the kids to the zoo or doing whatever it is when you're not stuck behind a desk working your 8 to 5, and instead you can be pouring into your kids or hanging out with your family. For me, that's going and watching race cars and watching sprint car racing. And the only reason that I'm able to do this is because my wife and I have this funnel. So let's talk about what the funnel is. And now I can talk about this in a very like detailed manner, in a very specific way, but this is me just trying to show you what the overall system looks like. So it's not going to be crazy granular, but basically the funnel is going to start with a freebie or an opt-in. And this is a short guide or training. It could be a part of your system. It could solve a very specific problem that people might have when, you know, they're watching your video. And basically all you're asking for in exchange is their email. Then if we were to go back and look at some of our other students, we have Ashley Bufa. She has like her challenge that she runs. Rebecca Matznick has a body type quiz that she has that's available. And we have a couple of other students too that do really well with their funnels, like Kiri from Transformed Homemaker Society. She has her masterclass that she has up and running that we worked really hard with her on, and her funnel actually performs really, really well. So if you guys are moms listening to this, or even if you're not and you're looking, you know, to help out a mom or something, you can go check that out as well. So that's the first thing that you do, is you create the freebie, you create the opt-in, and you're going to give that away in exchange for your email. Now, after they go through and get that opt-in, we're actually going to nurture them for a little bit, okay? Which that means is we're going to send them emails and let them get to know us and get to know our story, and we're going to show them that we actually care by giving them really good, valuable emails in our content. What that's going to do is that's going to warm them a little bit. It's called a warming sequence. And so in there are going to be things like your stories. You're going to have lessons that you've learned. You're going to have quick tips. Now, at the end of that email sequence, what you're going to do is you're going to actually pitch your masterclass, or a workshop. This video is what actually talks about your system and then sells your program for you. It's a single video that encompasses everything you could ever say about what it is that you're trying to sell, and you present it to the viewer kind of on a silver platter. Now, this system, this single video that happens at the end of this warming sequence, after people have opted in and actually like gotten value out of this guide or freebie that you gave them, this thing sells for you. So Haley's masterclass, for example, runs on autopilot. Okay, she films once a week. She feeds people into that funnel. It converts for her. Super hands-off, as passive it can be. That's because we have now 5 kids, because Haley just gave birth to our 5th. He's like 3 weeks old, and we're still being able to run this business even while she's not creating content day in and day out. She doesn't have to be on stories all the time or trying to sell 24/7. Same thing for all of our other students like Kiri, Lisa from Farmhouse on Boone, Ashley Bufa, all the people that I've mentioned in this video, and even more use this funnel and this masterclass system to be able to sell as passively as possible. And so what this does is this kind of frees you. Like, you're no longer trying to make it on YouTube. You're using YouTube to make it possible to be able to quit your job. And so if you want to be able to support your family, if you want to be there to personally raise your kids, and you want to build sustainable, real income that can be potentially generational, then you're going to want to follow the steps that I've talked about in this video. It's not glamorous, right? Like, we're not trying to be super famous influencers. It's not always fun to talk about videos that might be a little bit more boring to you, but that's the intention, is for them to be able to convert more. So yes, it does kind of suck at first, but at the end of the day, this is how normal people are able to build a living on YouTube. And so if you want to be able to do that too, again, like, subscribe, leave a comment on the video. Hopefully this was something that was helpful, and I will see you guys in the next one.